How's it, Indian Cowboy? We're in Chiva. Hope you guys are doing well. Live show, September 28th, Wednesday night for Thursday's ball games or the weekend's ball games. Let's get to about six ball games. I'll let you guys kind of file in here. Toss me the games that you want to talk about, and I will be glad to talk about those games. Hope you guys are doing well, and I will start with whatever games that you guys want to talk about. We had a live show earlier today. It was good content, and hopefully we'll provide you additional good content today. Hey, Lewis, good to see you, man. Talking about the Eagles game, sure. And by the way, this could change prior to um, our selections on Thursday evening. So it's just what it is right now, but it can obviously change. Yeah, you have the Jags 2-1 and the Eagles 3-0. No one's going to be overlooking the Jags anymore. Jags won 38-10 over the Chargers as a 6.5 point dog. They beat Indianapolis 24-0, so that wasn't a fluke, right? They lost to Washington 22-28. That's a game that they could have easily won. Philly comes into this game beating Washington 24-8 and beating Minnesota 24-7. That defense has been phenomenal, right? 15 points last two games. They beat Detroit 30-35. 6.5 is a lot of points. 48, 49, 47, 43, 44, 45. Kind of the totals for these two teams the last couple weeks. These two teams haven't played since 2018. If you look at the total, it opened up at 48 and went down to 46.5. I think I think that you have a Jacksonville team that put up 38 points last game. I don't think they put up that many points this game. And at the same time, I think Philly could have a letdown as well. If they, Jacksonville is not a bad defense; they're actually quite good. And obviously, the former coach of Jacksonville is the head coach of Philadelphia not too long ago, and so that's going to motivate them too. And you have a Jacksonville defense that's only given up 10 points the last 2 weeks. You have a Philly defense that's given up 15 points the last 2 weeks. I actually like the under between Jacksonville and Philadelphia for this weekend. So that your first game, number one, is Jacksonville, Philadelphia under. Moving on here, Miami versus Milwaukee in baseball. Okay. By the way, nice free pick winner today. We gave you the over in the White Sox game. Think that hit for you. Let me make sure here. White Sox, yeah, 4-8. So Miami and Milwaukee. This game goes off tomorrow at 7:40. I don't have any announcers or I don't have any starters announced. If you have the starters announced, let me know. Let me see if it's on this other website that we check here. Miami, New York. If you have the Miami game starters, holler at me, and then I will check it for you. Okay. Milwaukee. So Judge 51. How many do you think he'll end up with? I think he ends up with about 60 or so. That's my guess. But Lewis, Browns Falcons, sure. So in this game, the Browns are favored by -1.5. Falcons 1-2. Browns 29-17 win over Pittsburgh. And the Browns have the Chargers on deck. Browns, they obviously lost to the Jets by 1 point. That's their only loss. If they don't lose to the Jets, they're actually it's crazy, right? If they don't lose to the Jets, they're actually undefeated coming in. And that's prior to Deshaun Watson coming in. Atlanta's played really well, winning 27-23 at Seattle. They've covered all three games. They covered against the Rams, 27-31, covered against New Orleans. Pretty good team. Notice the total opened up 46.5 and went up to 47.5. 47.5 is a high total for the Falcons, in my opinion. It's the highest total that they've had all year. They've gone over all three games, 43, 46, 44. And it's the highest total Cleveland's seen. They've gone 42, 38, and 38. So they've gone over all three games too. I think the Falcons could be an active dog, but I think Cleveland's probably the better team. And I don't see the Cleveland Browns taking this team lightly at all. But at the same time, Atlanta has really earned the respect, and you have to wonder why Atlanta's only a 1.5 point dog here. You would think that Cleveland would be listed as a bigger dog. I actually like the over here. I think both these offenses can get it up. And I think I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Atlanta and Cleveland go over the posted total as your second game. Hey, IC, what do you think about Detroit Lions versus Seahawks? Yeah, so Detroit Seahawks. I'm high on the Lions. I've been high on the Lions for a while. Lions favored by 4.5. Public likes the under. The total seems pretty high. Seahawks 23 points in their last game against Atlanta. They did lose. 7 against San Fran. 17 against Denver. Detroit played well against Minnesota, covered that game. I mean, Detroit going back has covered 4 in a row. They only lost to Philadelphia by 3 points, and that win looks pretty good now. They beat Washington by 9. That win looks pretty good too. They lost 24-28 against Minnesota, but remember, Detroit was up 24-14 that game. I think this is a great game for Detroit to win and win by a wide margin. Detroit culture is changing. They are becoming a better team, and I like the Lions this week for what it's worth. Hey, I see Hope all is well. Hey, Al, good to see you. Jesse, good to see you. Finns, Bengals. Yeah, I mean, I had originally leaned on Cincinnati, but I kind of forgot that Tua wasn't playing this game. So Teddy Bridgewater is going to be playing. So that means all bets could be off here. But, Miami did put up 21 points last game against Buffalo. They put up 42 against Baltimore. I think Teddy Bridgewater will play great. I think the Bengals put up 27 points against the Jets, which is actually quite good. They're due for an offensive bounce back too. I actually like the over between the Bengals and the Dolphins. I think Bridgewater will play well. That's what I like the most right now. And I think Cincinnati has to have an offensive bust out because they haven't busted out lately. And Miami can put up a lot of points. And I don't think, Miami is going to miss a beat at all with Bridgewater in the lineup. So, and finally, the Broncos and Raiders. I talked about this game earlier. I like the over between Denver and Vegas. I talked about this, and the public likes the under here, but I talked about this in a previous video. But I like Denver and Vegas over, and primarily because Vegas is 0-3, so I think they can be their favorite here. But they put up 22 against Tennessee, 23 against Arizona, 19 against the Chargers. They're going to get out a lot of frustration here. And Denver, after scoring 16 and 11, this is the worst defense they would have played. Houston's a pretty good defense. San Fran's a pretty good defense. Seattle's a pretty good defense. I think Denver's going to bust out too, and I like the over between Denver and Vegas in the NFL as well. So that's what we have for you. Let me get to one more game here. The Niners game. I like San Fran. I think San Fran really needs a big win at home today or this week. Rams coming off 2012 win over Arizona, 31-27 over Atlanta. Both good wins. They have Dallas on deck. But the Niners coming off that 10-11 loss to Denver, and they did beat Seattle. What a frustrating loss for this team. Just an ugly loss for this team, losing 10-11. Garoppolo, 211 yards. Russell Wilson threw for 184. This is a very important game, and I think you have the Rams that are always, they have their classic letdowns after a big win. So I actually like San Fran relatively well here. So let me recap it for you. Jacksonville, Philadelphia, I like the over. I like Atlanta and Cleveland over. I like the Detroit Lions. I like the Bengals and my Dolphins over. I like Denver and Vegas over. And I also like the San Francisco 49ers. If you want a more detailed analysis, just watch earlier in the video. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like the video. Hope you enjoyed all those leans. Let's see here. And some of the other stuff, we'll get to it tomorrow, right, on the daily video or on the live show tomorrow as well. Yeah, there you go. How many hours of sleep do I get? Usually about 7. So I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Please take a moment and be sure to subscribe and like if you enjoy the content. I will see you back here tomorrow. And we have our football card coming out tomorrow. Small winning week last week, and we hope to have a great winning week this week. So we'll see what happens. Take care, fellas.